Hello my friends, Ebird's back, and I'm back with a segment you've all been waiting for, well, at least a segment I've been waiting for. I'd like to welcome to 90 Day Fiancé, Sophie's mum. Yes, that's right, I'm banking on Sophie's mum to pull that Rob all the way together. Yes, that's right, it's 90 Day Fiancé, Season 10, Episode 12. But just before I break it all down for you, a massive thank you to everyone who's subscribed to my channel. I genuinely appreciate it, but if you've yet to do so, please consider smashing the red button. Also, if you enjoy the video, I'd love it if you give me a thumbs up, it really does help with my algorithm. And also, if you know anybody else who might enjoy this video, please consider sharing on your social media. Thanks so much guys. Right, so without further ado, I'll give you Rob, Sophie and Sophie's mum. So when we first catch up with this couple, they're in the car on the way back from that infamous argument in the sex shop, and they decided to take their argument out of public and put it somewhere a little bit more private. And as per usual, Rob is apoplectic with rage. He said, "You're trying to make me out to be a dog. No, that's not what it is." Rob, yes, that's exactly what it is. However, he does go on to say, "As I see it, you're still trying to work out if you want to explore things with women. And if you're that interested in doing it, you need to think about if you're still interested in us doing this, in us being together as a couple." And guys, I really hate to do it, but I kind of agree with Rob on this one. Obviously not the dog part, but I do think it's a little bit rich that Sophie's expecting to be able to explore things with another person, but she doesn't want Rob to. And I know it's a completely different situation, but what's sauce for the goose, as they say, is sauce for the gander. But then Rob finishes off with this little gem.
"Because I don't like the idea of you having a side partner. That's not cool with me. That makes me feel like I'm not enough."
What? Really, Rob? What is it you think you've been doing online? Do you not think that you've pretty much said to Sophie, you're not enough? Let's be fair, you're the one who has a serious problem controlling your lusty inclinations. So let's not get it twisted. But then guys, what happened next is, wow, it's symptomatic of Sophie's problem with Rob. Rob does something that she's very unhappy with, and she makes a massive noise and they have a big argument, but then somehow, just somehow, she backs down super quickly. And so once again, after a massive argument, she did a backpedal and a pussy pop. Shout out to Alexandra Rogers. And she calmed Rob down with the following statement.
"I understand why I was upset was because I thought you wanted to her, and if it was about supporting me and not the fact you was getting a green light to have sex with someone else, then that's fine. I understand. Let's just move past it." Okay?
Alright, let's move past it.
Yes guys, that was it. What a damp squib. Anyway, moving on, the couple get home and they decide to cook. And Rob's going to cook Sophie chicken surprise. If he's going to cook it in that kitchen, the surprise is more than likely going to be E. coli. And I've got to say, I'm really surprised. I didn't actually realise that he had anywhere to cook. But I noticed he's got like a tiny little hob and a sink. And Sophie wasted absolutely no time in telling production it's the very first time we've cooked in the apartment. And Rob, well, look at this. He's ready and waiting.
This is the first time me and Rob are cooking in the apartment, just because, you know, there's not much room to cook in the apartment,
This
so...
is not the first time.
This is the first time.
No, it's not. We cooked when you were here in the first time.
What did we cook?
We've cooked. It's not the first time we ever cooked in these.
We put a pizza in the oven.
Like,
that is not cooking.
Sophie,
That's
we
not
have...
cooking.
Guys, the way that Rob looks at Sophie sometimes is absolutely disgusting. Somebody needs to give him a trank dart to the neck. And the truth be told, Rob, I'm with Sophie on this one. A pizza isn't really cooking. Anyway, the couple sit down opposite each other and they chop vegetables. According to Rob, it's a bonding moment. And Sophie gets a text on her phone, and guess what? Her mum's landing in 30 minutes. Sophie looks worried, as well she might do. Her mum's had, well, quite a few things to say about Rob in the past. Roll the tape.
"He's stupid, he's grumpy, he's the epitome of a no. I mean, he bored me a little, if I'm honest with between me and you. He gets on my nerves a bit. He's very like, ugh. He's jobless, he's boring, he has no sympathy. You can't be with this guy, you cannot marry him, Soph."
Guys, I've no idea if Sophie's mum's seen this apartment previously. I know she knows there's an outside toilet, but if she hasn't seen it before, whew. And I want to say Rob's going to find himself in hot water, but I doubt there's hot water in that hovel. I think for sure it's going to go off. If I were Sophie, I would have just rented somewhere else for the couple of weeks that she's over, so she doesn't even see this apartment. Most parents would be like, right, nope, you're not marrying that person. And so Sophie asked Rob if he was excited to see her mum. And guys, Rob's enthusiasm simply knows no bounds.
Yeah, are you looking forward to my mum coming later?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be nice. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do my best.
Oh, come on now, Sophie, stop asking silly questions. They don't like each other, and you know it. But if that's not enough, Rob then goes on to say she's got too much to say for herself and she has to learn to be quiet. And Sophie said, oh my God, how rude. And Rob said, well, she makes life very hard for me, and if you cared about me, you'd be worried about that. And so the couple finally sit down to eat the chicken, potatoes and vegetables, with a side of E. coli. And as they're eating, Sophie said, oh my God, my mum's just landed. And she and Rob get in the car to go and pick her up. And Rob tells production, I hope that Claire's not bringing with her own brand of bullshit. Well, you can hope away, Rob, because I can tell you now, yes, she is. And I'm here for it. So let's fast forward a bit, and the next time we see this couple, they're at Claire's hotel room. And so when Claire lets the couple in, she says, oh my God, Sophie, you're so beautiful. You smell like cherry blossoms. And they hugged each other. And Claire clasped Sophie's face in her hands. And then finally she hugged Rob and said, hi Rob, how are you? But then guys, things took a turn for the worse almost straight away. And Claire's resentment at the situation started to ooze from every pore.
You're literally stealing my baby. You know I'll kill you if you hurt her.
Oh dear, what is he supposed to say to that? I mean, apart from the fact that it's pretty obvious, at some point he's going to hurt her, so I guess, prepare for death, Rob, prepare to be killed. But I've got to say, she was combative right from the jump, and the atmosphere just went downhill from there. And so then they chit-chatted about the wedding, and Claire was saying she wanted to help with the wedding, and the couple were quite enthusiastic about that, even Rob. He said, yep, you should help. And so as they were chit-chatting, Claire said, oh, you've got to have a bouquet and you've got to throw it. I've never been married. No one's ever asked. Oh, I wonder why. And she said, I definitely want to catch it.
I'm pretty sure it'll be between you and my mom on catching that.
I swear, I'll knock your mum to the floor. I mean, get out of the way. I need to get married.
I don't doubt it. My mom's a tiny lady, so it's not like she's super tiny and not aggressive. So she's not gonna...
I'm not aggressive.
I don't think so. Oh, you're pretty aggressive. You're gonna, like you just said, you'll knock my mom to the floor. That's pretty aggressive in itself.
And just like that, Claire switched. She started saying, why are you calling me aggressive? And then Sophie joined in and she said, Rob, it was just a joke. Why are you saying my mum's aggressive for? Now I have two thoughts about this. The first is, it was quite clearly on everyone's part, I think, a joke. Rob was joking in with what Sophie's mum was saying, but I guess what he really thinks about Claire, i.e. she's slightly aggressive, I don't know, came out, popped out. But Claire, who many would describe as a wolf in wolf's clothing, was not having any of it. And she said, how dare you call me aggressive? I ain't aggressive. I've never been aggressive. And she said it all quite aggressively. Guys, I couldn't get my breath. And my second thought is Sophie should have known that Rob was joking, so she should have been the one saying, guys, both of you are joking. This is nothing but a joke. And she should have tried to de-escalate the situation immediately. Guys, I've got a feeling that Sophie kind of likes the fact that these two don't like each other. It seems like she puts gasoline on the fire every time they go to have an argument. And so Claire then said, as if I'm going to go to a wedding and knock your mum to the floor. Rob's trying to dig me out. Really, Claire? I think it's fair to say he's got plenty of material if he wanted to dig you out. I think it's just a joke. But oh my lord, Claire, she wasn't letting it go. Guys, if I was having an argument with anybody, I'd want Claire on my side. She is quite the imposing figure, and I can imagine she's great fun, a great laugh, if she likes you, but unfortunately, she don't seem to like Rob. And then Claire decided to say the equivalent of, Rob, fucking bring it on.
I know deep down you want to say something to me because the way you're sitting, your body language is all about, I can feel it. You want to say something to me.
I could always say something.
Go on and say it.
I always have something.
I think we need to, because I don't want to be the mother-in-law that you hate.
I don't hate you. That's not what I'm going to say.
And Rob looked so uncomfortable, even though he was laughing. He didn't know what to say. Guys, what would you say to this? And Sophie said, he doesn't get British humour. And Claire said, he don't get humour, full stop. And Rob said, yes, I do. I was joking. Anyway, the trio make arrangements to go to Rob's apartment the following day. And Claire said, I'm excited to see it. And then she said to production, I'm dreading seeing it. I can tell by their faces, it's obviously not very good. So the following day, Claire arrives, and as she walks in, she said, oh, I love the courtyard. It's very pretty. And guys, it is. It's got all flowers and roses. And Rob said, the bathroom's over there. And straight away Claire said, oh, you don't have a bathroom in your house? And so it begins. And so Claire walked in and looked around the apartment. And even though she was grinning like a Cheshire cat, it was very clear that she was shocked at where Sophie was living. And Rob said, well, this is where I'm living for now. And he said, we'll move eventually. And guys, I like the word eventually. It's full of promise and hope, but with no particular urgency. And for a short moment, Claire was rendered speechless. But finally she finds her voice.
Like, it's a proper man cave. I don't know what to say.
Claire, your face and your body language are saying it all. And then she said, Rob, you knew Sophie was coming. Why haven't you sorted out a bigger place? And Rob said, in the 2 years we've known each other, I put all my money into travelling and seeing Sophie. But Claire wasn't having any of it, and she said a real man would have said, Soph, I can't be with you right now. I need to get myself sorted out. And so Rob hit back and said, a real man wants to work with his partner, and it's better to get Sophie over here, and so we can work together to find the spot that we want to be together. And guys, Rob laments that life's hard, but I'm reliably informed that it's even harder if you're a lazy fuck. And what do you know, Claire agrees. She thinks Rob should have found himself a job. And guess who else agrees with her? Sophie.
You knew I was coming here. You knew I couldn't work. You haven't had a job secured. You haven't had the place secured. There could have been a lot of things you could have done better. There was months I was saying, when are you going to get a job? When are you going to get a job? You're like, oh yeah, soon. You didn't get a job.
Y'all and these opinions is blowing my mind. Neither of y'all can sit here and tell me about what I should have done and what I should have, because neither of you guys have ever been at the bottom.
And Rob stormed out into the courtyard. And then he told production they've never been at the bottom. All they do is make a phone call and they're fine. And this is his typical narrative. Rob, you're trying to deflect. You should have at least got a job. Guys, if Rob had a job, a full-time job, and he still couldn't afford to live anywhere decent, I'd at least say, well, he's trying to move his career on. He's at least on some sort of ladder. But at the moment, he's not working. Of course you can't afford much when you're not working. He definitely should have got a job before Sophie moved over. He's good looking, he's well spoken, he doesn't appear to be stupid. So I really don't know what his excuse is. I think he's all wrapped up in this Instagram world of, I don't know, being an influencer or a model or a dancer and doing bits and bobs and hustling. Unless you're making lots of money, a hustle is what you do on the side of your actual job. And so Sophie's mum said, you have no idea what I've done with my life. And Rob said, it's hard being at the bottom. And Sophie shouted out, get the violins out. And I've got to say, I agree. Guys, I think we should all get together and make a GoFundMe for Rob. Come on, you know it makes sense. Let's help the disenfranchised. And Rob finishes up by saying, you're all judging me. Yep, that's right, I guess we are. And that's where we leave things for this week. So what does the Ebird make to all of this? Well, I knew Sophie's mum would set the cat amongst the pigeons, but she literally walked in, earrings out, hair tied back, it's game on. And whilst there are two sides to every argument, it would seem that Sophie's mum doesn't really have time to listen to Rob's. I do think she was unnecessarily aggressive with the whole throwing the wedding bouquet thing. And it does seem as if she came with an agenda to actually wind Rob up. I think she knew where they were living wasn't great. But instead of being calm and saying, right, Rob, what are you doing to get a job? What are your next steps? She kind of walked in and, I don't know, pissed all over what he was doing. But having said that, Rob has made very little effort, even in the apartment. The food's out, there's no sort of cupboards in the kitchen. It seems like he's put as little as possible into the space that he has. And that doesn't make anything any better. Although hard work never killed anyone. Rob thinks, why take the chance? And as per usual, he turns to gaslighting, making out that Sophie's mum and Sophie don't know what life's all about. Well, I can tell you one thing. I don't know about her mum, but I can tell you one thing. Since the age of 16, Sophie has worked. So the apartment she had in London, she rented by herself. She didn't ask for any money from her family. But Rob always tries to insinuate that she's just a little princess taking money from her granddad. But I also think that Sophie didn't make things any easier. I know she agrees with her mum that they shouldn't be living there, but she went over to America knowing where she would be living. So although I agree with her, Rob should have got a job. He hasn't. If I was Sophie, I would have said, well, I'm not going to come over unless we're financially secure and unless you get a job, because I can't work. If she does want to marry Rob, she's not making life easy for herself, because she's not attempting at all to squash this beef between Rob and her mum. So guys, let me know what you think. Do you think Rob should have got a job? I know I do. But what do you make of Sophie's mum? Do you think she came with a bee in her bonnet in the first instance? And no matter what happened, she was going to argue with Rob as much as possible? I kind of think she was. Although I have to admit, I would be massively upset if it was my daughter living in those conditions. And finally, do you think that Rob was planning on riding on Sophie's money when she got to America, and that's why he hasn't got a job, and that's why he seems to be a man without a plan? Something tells me that's the case. But guys, as usual, let me know what you think. And please put your comments down below, and I will get on with my next video. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and all of that good stuff. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider sharing it on social media. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.
Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just me. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me